I want to show you how to create a robot head drawing using Onshape on here. So I'm going to create, my document name is going to be robot head on here, and then create. So this is going to load a new document for me. And here I've got my workspace. So I'm going to click the front panel, select it in orange, then sketch, and then the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle on here. Here I'm going to enter my dimensions. I want it 70 millimeters by 50 millimeters, which is roughly the size of the head of my robot that I manufactured on here. So on the front here, I want to select the rectangle and move it so it's slightly more central to the axis. So here I'm just quite happy with what I've got on here. And then I'm going to extrude it. So to extrude, I'm putting back into isometric view so I can see what's happening on here. And I'm going to click extrude solid, click back on my rectangle on here, and here I'm quite happy what it shows. So I've now got my rectangle in 3D, and you can use the arrow tools on your keyboard to show that. I'm going back to the normal view that we had at the front, okay, and you can play with the little setting on the side to change the view. So I'm going to select the front panel, sketch, and now select a circle. I want to get some facial features for my robot on here, just moving that circle slightly here. I think that circle is too big, so I'm getting the dimensions tool on here, clicking on the circle, and I'm going to change the diameter here. So instead of 21, I'm going to put 15. Okay, and that's much smaller and just the right size on here. So extrude. Show my size here, it's going way out too much. I don't want 25 millimeters. I'm going to change that to 5 millimeters. So now I've got it just how I want. Going back to the front, selecting the eye panel on here to draw on, and here, that's it, getting the eye on here, and I'm going to go to extrude but put remove this time. So same isometric view, you can see it's going way too far. I want really shallow remove, so I'm going to put 3 millimeters on here. So here I've got it just how I want. It just makes like a little eyelet on there. So selecting the front again to create the second eye. So now I'm getting for a much bigger one, moving that in place. And same process for each part I create on here. So extrude. Making sure I've got that so I get the right size. So I want that to 5 millimeters again, and select, and I just keep checking that I've got things that I want them. So select that front panel, little circle, this one slightly off center to create a hole on here. Same, go back to 3D. Okay, and remove from extrude and 3 millimeters again. So here I've got both my eyes and kind of my thing on there. So I want some sort of antenna on the top of his head, so I'm going to the top, sketch, and creating a circle on here. Oops, I've created another circle by accident. I need to go back on there, finding my dimension tool. Okay, and 5 millimeters, zoom in sometimes help. I want that to 10. Okay, so now I've got that 10 millimeters. I'm putting it nice and central on here. And so I'm going to go back to my 3D view and extrude. And here I want that a bit higher. So I'm going to put 30 millimeters and click OK. So my robot is coming along on here. So here I want to add some ears. I'm going to use a slightly different method to create the ears. So I'm going to create that panel, click, select orange, sketch. And here I'm going to use a line tool to sketch this one on here. So here I'm drawing a triangle, and it's got that same principle again. 3D view, extrude. Here I want to put 10 millimeters, and that's okay. I've got that here on here. So let's go to the other side. Select orange, it's selected. Left, I can see that a little bit better. And here I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see exactly where I'm clicking, and I've got a nice close figure on here. So isometric view again, that's too long, so I'm going to put that to 10 millimeters again and click OK. And you can see how my figure is progressing. So here I'm selecting that panel, I want to hold it that here, get the circle, just move it somewhere a little bit more central, and here I'm happy with it. So extrude, remove this time. And here I'm going to go about 5 millimeters. Okay, I'm just turning that around to check it's okay. That looks good. I'm happy with my work so far. So here I'm missing the mouth, so I'm going to go back to my front panel, sketch, rectangle. Here I want it slightly asymmetric to one side, and I'm just going to extrude, so remove and put 3 millimeters on here. Okay, so I'm happy with that robot head as it is, and it's finished on there. What I want to show you now is how to export this as part of the drawing. So I'm going to go Part Studio and click the plus and put Create Drawing. Okay, so here I want the ISO A4, okay, and I'm loading this drawing on here, and I'm going to click on Part View Scale. I want the scale on 1:1. It's quite a small drawing, so it's going to be same scale as the original. And then you click to the side to a front and side view, and then you click across and you got the 3D view on here. So you can also use the dimension tool to show somewhat dimensions of your robot on here. So you've got the dimensions, I'm going back, I don't want that one. You've got the dimensions here for manufacturing kind of all ready to use on there. So it could be made to the right specification or sent into some machinery as well. Somebody can look at the drawing, the technical drawing of your work, and see what needs to be made or how it needs to be done on here. Okay, so once you've got kind of a reasonable amount of dimensions on here, you're going to save it as a JPEG, and I'm going to show you as well as how to put the shading in the 3D view on here. So maybe one more dimension on here and that bit on there. Okay, so on here, if you select your 3D view, or just write your name, sorry, first on there. You can use the little notes on there to write the file name. So I've got robot, and here zoom in a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to write my name as well. So when we print it out, we know whose file it is and who's made that. Okay, so now I'm going to select that 3D version, show hide and show shaded view. So I've got the shaded view on here and just kind of renders it in a slightly more interesting way. So then we're going to right click onto drawing and export. So here I'm going to call it robot drawing, and a JPEG is fine. I'm going to download it and export it on there.